Alright, so another video. I've actually made an improvement because I've made notes this time on what I want to say. I came and recorded this video yesterday in the morning, but I didn't have these, so I lost them, so I had to buy some new ones yesterday because the wind was just messing up the audio. I believe that we reward ourselves too much in this life. I feel like you hear a lot of people talking about we're in a comfort crisis, men aren't men anymore. Men used to go to war. You hear all of those on online, social media or whatever. And I do believe that's right. I do believe there's an abundance of comfort in this life. Junk food, sweets, chocolate, scrolling social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. All these things are they're objects of pleasure, right? They're things of pleasure. You call them a reward for working hard, or these are things that you would do to reward yourself. So let me get into my notes. Things like sleeping in and skipping work and skipping school, skipping studies. These are all things that are easy. Even watching porn online, if that's what you do, those are pleasure. That's reaching, not to get too explicit, but reaching ejaculation. That's a pleasure. That's a reward. You know, mentally unchallenging tasks are in abundance. You don't almost need to use your brain for anything day to day. I believe all of these things are things of comfort, things of reward, prizes. There was a time where these things used to be actually prizes. There was a time where the best king would get the biggest meal, the most prolific soldier would get the biggest meal, would get the finest women, would get the oldest and the sweetest of wines, you know? I do believe that is lacking in our society now. Not to get too woke, but I do believe that is lacking in our society. The finest woman used to be only available to the most honourable man, the greatest man, shall I say. Now within minutes you can, not to say that this is the same thing as having the woman, but now within minutes you can go online and search up to a T, whatever woman you like, what woman you describe, and you can get her naked on your screen within minutes, doing whatever, you know? I do think this is a negative thing. I think this is a bad thing for men. I think this is a bad thing for women. I think this is a bad thing for society. Pleasure is of abundance, for lack of better term. I've been trying to think of this term this whole vid, but I haven't been able to get it. Just gonna look at my notes. Long sleeping in, snoozing alarms were things of rewards, you know. You couldn't just get the longest of sleeps. These just weren't accessible for unsuccessful people. Let's do a story. Let's say you scroll on social media, you order the junk food, you sit in your room for 2 hours. What is the subsequent feeling most of the time when you do these things? It's guilt, it's regret, it's shame. And why do you feel these things? Because what are you guilty of, you know? If you just sat in your room, you just enjoyed yourself, you know? What is the guilt for? What is the shame you're feeling? I believe this is what we're talking about here, the rewarding yourselves. I feel like when doing those things as an ambitious person, you are giving into your desires. And subconsciously, even if you've never studied desires or anything like that, I think your subconscious knows that you're giving in to your desires. You're rewarding yourself. You are gifting yourself. You're receiving pleasure, you know? And the reason why you feel these emotions is because sometimes you're not rewarding yourself for anything. If you was to close a $1 million, $1 million business deal, if you were to accomplish something of huge significance to you, I'm not gonna keep using examples because I want this to be dedicated to you. If you were to achieve something of extreme significance and then you were to do these things, would you feel the same shame, guilt and regret? I don't think so. I think you would be proud. I think you would sit in your bed, eating the pizza, watching a movie, proud of yourself, because you are aware that you have completed something of significance before you've done this. So that shows that reward / prize, enjoyment, pleasure is not always followed by shame, guilt and regret. Reward, prize, pleasure is only followed by shame, guilt and regret when the thing that leads to you giving yourself the reward, prize and pleasure is not an accomplishment, I believe. Without work, accomplishment, fulfillment, the reward, prize and pleasure always equals shame, guilt and regret. So I want you guys to think about that, you know. And this is not me saying you should never give in to your desires, you should never order the junk food, but I just want you to do it with consciousness in your mind what you are actually doing. You know, I'm not saying to not have balance. I think balance is important, but I think balance is overrated, and I think we get told too much that we need balance. As an ambitious person, boy, you're gonna have to sacrifice some things, and I believe that balance is one of them. No one ever got successful by accident. No one ever got extreme success from being a balanced man, a balanced woman, and I think everyone knows that already. Let's take two people. You have Jeff and you have Tom. These guys are both business owners. Let's say they own the same business. Actually, they find the best things online, buy them and sell them in person in a car boot sale or something. You know, Jeff works a full-time job and he has balance in his life. He goes to sleep early, sees his family every week. He goes on dates all the time, and on Saturday, Sunday in the morning he'll work on his business. Balance, you know, healthy, does the right things, you know, lives a good life. That's Jeff. Tom, on the other hand, still works a full-time job, but every time he finishes his work, he's straight onto improving this business, finding more products online, finding better ways to get them to him faster so that he can sell them at these car boot sales, finding other people to sell his things. All of his waking hours, apart from the ones that he's consumed by his regular day job, he's focusing on his business. There's no balance. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't eat the best food. He rarely sees his family. Goes weeks without seeing his family. Extremely unbalanced, unhealthy, not always sustainable for 90% of people. And then let's fast forward, 5 years. I want you to take a minute to think, what are the possible outcomes for both of these men in 5 years? Jeff, in 5 years, made some progress on his business, is making some money, making a decent money. Maybe he's even making money to where he doesn't have to work his full-time job anymore. He can just go part-time. You know, good, balanced. Maybe he's found a wife. Maybe he's found happiness in himself. Tom, on the other hand, he stuck at it for 5 years. He didn't fall into the pressure. He managed to weather the storm, you know, as some people like to say. He doesn't work his job anymore. He has enough people selling his products in a car boot sale that he doesn't need to actually be at the car boot sale anymore. So now what's he doing? He's focused on another business. He's working on another company. He's a millionaire. All because of the delayed gratitude, the missed rewards, the missed balance. You know, there was none of that for him. So I just want to take into example, I want you to take that I want you to take that and think next time you do these things. Just be aware, be conscious of your decisions, and when you decide what you decide to do. I think accomplishment, fulfillment, these all deserve reward, obviously, but the reason why you're feeling this shame, guilt and regret is because you're not actually rewarding yourself for anything. Marcus Aurelius said in one of his meditations, desires are part of our animalistic nature, but our true self must govern them. The proof is in the pudding. Do not always give in to your desires. Don't reward yourself too much. Do something of significance and then reward yourself. that's it for today.